Welcome, citizens, to another episode of the Citizen Feed. I'm one of your hosts, Delta X85, and this is a podcast to bring you all things Star Citizen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the ball to Mozsta69. Mozsta69, why don't you shift us on into the introductions?
Yeah, a little bit of an intro about all of us, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And I'm Mozsta69, just a Star Citizen player down here in Sydney, Australia. Been playing for about 4 years, love the game, and hoping for great things. And we have our mystery man, Ace. Say hello to the people. Ace.
Hello. Hello, I'm Ace36 from Stanton right now. We wish to bring you some interesting talks and thoughts about our very favorite game.
And Delta.
How about that? Yeah, Delta X85. I actually kind of got stumbled up over there. I noticed Ace has got some upgrades. It seemed like every week when he comes back, he looks totally fucking different. Well,
you know how it is. Armor is not always matching. You gotta go someplace and buy the right parts. So
yeah, so I'm Delta X85, founder of the Order of Zion, relatively new player, but we're learning as we go. All right, so what have you guys been doing this week?
well, I haven't been playing much. I only had one session, and it was a quick. Basically just a fly around. I didn't do any missions or anything. I just flew around for a while with a mate. Working on those upgrades. Yeah, it's a lot of sanding involved in those upgrades.
I've dabbled in 3.14 again. Just doing a lot of or trying to do a lot of combat. Big shout out to Auto Mecha, I think it was. I confronted him several times in the verse and he kicked my ass in all those situations. But yeah, just trying to get my head around the the capacitance system and the missile operator mode and stuff. So yeah, pretty much same week as last week. A lot of combat, running around in the Hammerhead as well. But we'll talk about the details further.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Delta?
Me? Man, just grinding on admin work, trying to get the org structured, people to fill roles. Real particular about who I add into it as far as the actual org. I did decide to separate my org operations into one category, and now I've offered OZ's Discord as a community as well, because I realize that a lot of players don't really have access to a consistent group that's online. So now we've actually started a completely different category for the OZ community, and the org guys are actually chilling in that category most of the time. It's actually working out well. Running bounties, I did fucking ram the Hammerhead with my Sentinel. It was
Nice.
unintentional, however it was very fucking successful. We were running bounties. And I'm still working on the EMP itself, trying to learn the right distance, the right time. And one of my one of the guys in the group, he was close to the Hammerhead, and I was like, dude, move so I don't get a crime stat. So he backed up, and I got really close. I was like 300 meters away. I unleashed the EMP, and I didn't realize that I was hauling ass. I was going so fast that I was about to black out, and boom, I hit the fucking Hammerhead, split it in half. So its HP had to be really fucking low because nothing happened to my Sentinel. It was pretty sweet. I actually recorded it. I might have to post it in a media channel or something.
Your Sentinel survived and the Hammerhead died?
Yeah, I'm assuming that I don't have it recorded, so there is evidence of this.
Wow, well done.
Oh, cool.
It split that bitch right in half. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, Delta! I thought you were gonna EMP it, not fucking torpedo it with your whole ship." But yeah, it was pretty sweet. I mean, as far as the Sentinel itself, it's a pretty fucking strong ship, man. It's a badass ship.
Hmm.
But we'll get to that later. Helping new players and trying to consider my next ship purchase. I think I'm gonna wait for 314 to roll into the PU before I do anything with my money. Outside of that, just grind it, dude. Trying to save, research, figure out what I want,
Yeah.
and this is pretty much it, man.
Cool,
So,
man. All right, let's pivot on to our next segment, which is just looking at 314, the roadmap, and what to expect. There's a lot to talk about. I remember when people were looking at 314 and, like, in typical CIG fashion, they would kind of take things out that were maybe delayed or whatever. And at one point, we were all kind of saying, "Oh, 314's got nothing. There's not much in it." And then all of a sudden, it's like this huge patch where everything's different. Game feels different, you know. I mean, Ace, there's so much here to talk about, really. So I don't know. Maybe we could start with you picking a point, and I'm sure that point will be pretty significant, and we can go around the table and throw some ideas.
Yeah, let's pick the elephant in the room, which would be the planet in the room. So we got Crusader. So
Yes.
that's pretty amazing. We got the landing zones, we get the planet, and we get the cloud tech going with the planet, which is I think it's part of the core tech.
Yep.
So yeah, it was not a whole bunch of updates, but they were quite significant. In terms of ships, yeah, okay, we didn't get like 5 new ships or anything, or 5 ships that were...
Which I'm okay with, but go on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just the Taurus. I say it's a good ship. Come on, it's a Taurus.
I haven't seen one yet in the verse, but that's just me.
Me neither.
So...
okay, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, did you walk around Crusader, Orison? Did you fall in love like the rest of the internet?
I did not yet play the PTU. I'm still
okay.
On the PU only.
Yeah.
Neither have I. And I have access to the PTU, but I'm about to say something that apparently is fucking heresy in Star Citizen. I have access to the PTU, but I've chosen not to participate in it. No particular reason. I kind of feel like it's a waste of my time at the moment. Let them iron it out. When I start my content channel in the next month or so, I will certainly participate in the PTU. At the moment, I would just rather wait till it launches and then I'll roll with it. Probably should jump into it to get a head start on the new HUD system and whatnot. And speaking of all of that, the HUD, I have to say, from what I've seen on highlight reels, it looks much better. It's not compact in your central line of vision. Everything's kind of expanded out, so if you need to use your peripherals, you can consciously do that. I didn't like being forced to consume all that fucking information at one time directly in my line of sight. So I very much appreciate them updating that. I think it was a good idea.
The redesign is great. From what I've seen, it's really good. The spread is good, and a little bit more visibility, as you said, really helps.
So Miles, what from your experience, you've actually been in the PTU. What do you think about the new HUD?
Yeah, I love the new HUD. I didn't like it when I first saw it, like months ago when they showed it for some reason. But I absolutely adore
change.
Yeah,
you didn't like the change.
Yeah, probably. I just thought it was too cluttered when I first saw it. But either they tweaked the design and kept changing it. But I absolutely love the HUD. I think it's amazing. It's awesome. It's out of the way. There's one problem with it. The speed indicator on the left-hand side, previously, it was a bar that went up and down, right? And when it went up and it hit the red section, then the bar would turn red, and then when you slowed down, the bar would go down. But so in the corner of your eye, anyway, for me, I could see the bar and I could see it go red, and then I knew I was over SCM speed and stuff. In the new HUD, that bar is drawn in on the screen. So there's a bar that is there, and the top half is red and the bottom half is blue. It's constantly there, right? And then your speed indicator is a small little triangle that goes up and down this bar. But I can't now use the corner of my eye to see if I'm in the red or in the green anymore. I have to look at it and find that little goddamn triangle and see where it is on that bar. So I wish that bar was dynamic and changed with the speed, so I can see and use the corner of my vision. So that's the only. It's a small. Well, it's not that small. It's significant, but other than that, it's a really good change. And we know the underlying technology has changed as well, which is going to allow them to customize. That's probably the most important thing, is sort of the invisible stuff we don't see. So yeah,
I know you've been getting into some criminal aspect of the PU, and you said you went to prison several times.
Yeah, I'm bad.
PTU.
Yep, I'm bad.
You didn't surrender using the new law system. Surrender.
No, I think the law system is when NPCs pull you over. So I was always getting whacked by players. So I had no chance. But yeah, I definitely know how to escape from prison now. After being there for so many times. And Crusader was stunning, man. I was blown away. It's a beautiful. I think it's definitely a place that I'm going to be hanging out in. And the only problems is the frame rate's quite low in those areas. The cloud tech is kind of being finished. It's still there's dots and stuff in the distance. It's a known issue, so it'll be good when they finish that off. But I can't wait for my first sort of dogfight or pursuit in the clouds.
So, question for you, real quick. I know you have a God computer. What was your FPS in Orson?
It was 25, then going up to 30, 29, 30, then back to 20, between 20 and 30.
Gotcha. I was just wondering how that cloud tech
apparently
reacted with this system.
If you put it on medium, that saves you 10 frames, apparently, if you put the details of the cloud. So everyone's putting it on medium.
Medium?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Now, what about one of the things that I saw that changed that most players that like to mine will enjoy, no longer will pirates be able to see your ping. I know that was frustrating because I actually did one day go out mining, and a lot of the times when you're mining, especially if you're not a combat player, even the NPCs can give you a fit or fuck up your day. So now the pirates cannot see your ping when you're searching.
I'm happy with that.
That's a benefit for those players.
Yeah, I didn't know that, actually. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does it actually work?
I think they just changed something on the back end to where when you're pinging now, it just doesn't trigger their aggro.
You mean they can't? You can't see the
NPCs.
ping anymore? Are you talking about NPCs or players? You mean other players can't see the ping?
No, I think that was related to NPCs. Because anytime that and the only reason why I thought that it was directly related to them is when I was mining one time when I was testing that loop, I was pinging and I got attacked by NPCs several times. So I'm assuming that it had to do with. Because so how do you distinguish players as pirates? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just thought you meant visually you can't see the ping, because you can see people's pings visually, eh?
No, it's only for the NPC pirates from what I understand. Okay. And I did get attacked several times by NPC pirates. So I'm assuming that those NPCs that are identified in the system as pirates specifically, they can no longer see your ping when you're pinging.
Yeah.
What? How about the power management system? What's up with
Yeah, that's like the next elephant.
That's the huge.
That's
fucking
huge.
thing.
Yeah. So two
The big
two sides to it is, first of all the flight parameters or ratings of the ships have been totally changed. So the pitch and the yaw rates of all the ships have been changed, like massively nerfed, so that you're kind of less agile and more kind of maneuvering like a normal aircraft, I suppose, is one way I can describe it. So that's one huge change. So the flight feels different and the maneuvering feels heaps different. And then you got a capacitance system. So Ace, like, did you have a play with it? With
no, not at all. I didn't try out the PTU, but apparently, from what I've heard, with the changes to the power management and the changes to the flight models, and with the whole mission operator mode and not being able to shoot them anymore, we all need to relearn flying from the get-go.
Well, I found
substantial changes.
It's very substantial, yeah. And look, what I'm about to say is taking into consideration that it's going to continually get tweaked, right? They're continually every patch they do, they're rebalancing it. But I'm just going to talk about what I like the fact that there's this other layer to combat now, where you send power to shields. It's like in Elite Dangerous to shields, to weapons, or to engines. But one thing I didn't like is, and you guys might agree or disagree, but when you get into a dogfight, I found that, and I put a post on Spectrum as well because I was a bit passionate about it, was that you're literally, so what you typically do is you imagine your joystick, you key map, power to shields, power to weapons, and power to afterburner, right? So you got, three buttons, let's say. And when you're in the dogfight, I found that you are like pressing one of these buttons every 3 seconds. Like,
ooh, okay. Yeah.
So I've got my little thumb joystick that I do it. And I was fighting a guy for like 10, 15, 20 minutes because you do less damage, right? Your lasers cool down. Your ballistics run out after like 2 seconds. Like ballistic ammunition runs out, mate, in like 2 seconds. You have like one or two sprays and you're done. Finished. Finito. They do a lot of damage, but
a bit much.
Yeah, if they do a lot of damage, but if someone dodges you, you're out of ballistics, right? And then now you're stuck with your lasers, and your lasers recharge, run out of ammo, and all that sort of stuff, right? But mate, my thumb was going to fall off from just micromanaging this in the dogfight. And then I had this out of body moment where I was like looking at myself, going, "Wait a second, man! This Drake Buccaneer that you're in is like a spaceship in the future. Why am I micromanaging this thing every 3 seconds? Like, no ship manufacturer is going to put that workload on the pilot. I'm trying to dogfight, but I'm doing power management, like 20 clicks a second. Like, anyway, we'll see where it lands.
Yeah, we will see if it's not a bit too much for fighters to have like all this stuff going on at the same time, because it's different to sit in a fighter and have a quick dogfight to be in a big ship and sitting in a turret or piloting the big ship. There's a huge difference in how you fly and how fast you have to react.
Yeah.
So what about the HP for the ships? Did you test any of that out?
I did. I know the Hammerhead has a lot more. I don't know every ship. I didn't like test the ships, but it was more the weapon. So yeah, I can't comment too much on the HP. I know some ships got more.
The ships that you flew, did you feel like you were? Was it worse, better?
I think the Hammerhead was stronger. And then the Drake Buccaneer kind of felt the same. I feel like your shields now, because it's a bubble shield, right? It's a size 1. The smaller shields are like just one bubble. They like literally, you pass another enemy as it's passing by, and if he hits you a few times, it feels like your shields are just down. And then from that second on, and I'm not the best PvPer, so I get my ass handed to me, but from that moment on, you're like trying to manage your power and trying to get shields back up. But when you give power to shields, your weapons are not recharging, your afterburner's not recharging, and it's just this chasing of power management. And whoever kind of does it better, I suppose, comes out on top. But
well, I guess the good thing about it is now your turret gunners can utilize the missiles. So when your power shit goes down, you can actually convey orders to your turret gunner to start shooting missiles. I actually like that idea, giving them power.
Yeah, the missile operator mode was, as you say, is a huge change as well. That was awesome because typically you could spam your missiles while you're spraying all your guns. But now you have to, if you're a single seater, you have to switch to missile mode. So when you're dogfighting someone, there's this ominous silence from your enemy, and you're like, okay, he's going into missile mode because he's stopped shooting his guns. And you can kind of tell when he goes, when the guns stop firing, that it's missile time. But if you're multi-crewing, then your co-pilot can now, or not yet, right? I think we've got to wait for another patch. Is that right, Ace or Delta?
I'm not sure. It says on the roadmap it should be in, or that at least it would be in.
You're talking about for the multi-crew?
Yeah.
Stuff? It's supposed to be in 3.14.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys tested that out while you were in there.
No.
It's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah. I know it's either it's in there now, or it's coming 3.14.x or something, but yeah. So soon.
What they're in the second or third phase of it?
They're in wave 1 of 3.14 at the moment.
Or they've patched it twice.
Oh yeah, they've done those little baby patches. A, B, C, D, E, F, G patches, yeah. So missile operator mode, huge difference. Capacitance, huge difference. Flight model, flight model difference. Like, it's just a new game.
I guess a lot of people will be just fucking with vanilla for right now and keeping it set neutral until they start tweaking that. Because if you're saying that you're having to constantly change it back and forth, that's going to be a little overwhelming for a lot of people. So I do know that you can just leave it set at a vanilla setting and then roll with that.
And again, this might all change in the vanilla setting. Like, your shields don't regenerate that fast, your afterburner doesn't regenerate that fast, so I feel like you're forced to, like I said, guy gives you a little spray, your shields are down. So you feel like you need to put all power to shields, but now your weapons aren't charging, and you're like, anyway, I want you guys just to play and then come back and let me know what you guys think. But
I might jump in this Sunday or something when I got some time.
I'll wait for the PU to launch. I always wait for the PU since I don't give any test feedback and stuff. I think like I should wait and let them iron out all the small bugs they can iron out.
Let the players who give a shit give a shit.
No, I mean I give a shit, but my feedback
you don't give a shit
be
until it's your time. So it comes to PU, so you don't have to leave Stanton to go to an alternate reality.
Yeah, that's complicated anyway. You know how much trouble it is to get online with you guys.
Oh yeah. There was a visual update to scanning. Did you test that out?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Is it,
it's beautiful, man. It's so much better than the old version of it. Yeah.
So I guess
it's not just the blue circle. Like you send out like a
no, it's a sphere.
Sort of pole.
It's a grid. Imagine you're in the center of a gridded sphere that like expands out from you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when it hits all the like we're in an asteroid field, And as it was expanding away from us and it was hitting all the asteroids, it was painting all the asteroids blue, and it looked it's much better than the older version. I'm sure you'll like it, Ace. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll do.
Another thing they did, man, in a recent patch was like reduce the ranges of a lot of weapons. So, and the fire rate of the cannons have slowed down. And I
think the actual speed of the projectiles, or respectively lasers, also changed.
Right.
They lowered that too.
Yeah. I think what they're heading towards is cannons good for ships bigger than you, repeaters good for same size ships or smaller than you. Yeah, so people were using cannons to destroy light fighters and stuff previously, but now they want to have this kind of way of thinking of, I want to arm my buccaneer to be a big ship killer or a small ship killer, and I'm put big guns or small guns. So yeah, or cannons or repeaters.
Makes sense. I mean, they give you options and they make you think. It's not an arcade game after all. We always have to keep that in mind.
Space simulator.
Exactly. And space is stressful, I imagine, especially when your life is online. So,
what do you mean you imagine, Ace? You don't imagine, you are in space. You don't imagine.
All right, no, I'm not.
Oh, yes, true.
Yeah.
I'm in an undisclosed location on an undisclosed planet. Or moon. Or asteroid.
I think that was it. Yeah, ballistics, I've told you guys, like, not much. Like, you use your ballistic when the guy is, like, in front of you and you're certain you're going to hit him. But the negative side is really beginning to annoy me, and I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anyone saying when server meshing comes out and stuff. Please let me just rant. And that's like the horrendous desync is horrendous. Like, two guys in a ship and then you get decoupled from each other, not being able to see each other. We went into the same prison and I was invisible. My other friend was invisible, and it never was like this, you know? Like, we've always had one system, 50 people on a server. It's just, for me, it's horrendous, man, and I'm dropping the mic on that.
But when server meshing...
Oh, my God. Okay.
Okay. What do you think, guys? A little bit of ship talk?
Yeah, how about that? Let's roll with it.
Let's do some ship talk.
Okay, so this week we've chosen 4 ships that are suited for PvP and some bounty missions, and we've chosen the Anvil Arrow, the Aegis Sabre, the Esperia Talon, and the Aegis Vanguard series. There's a few variants of it. And yeah, we'll talk about all 4 of them, and we'll start off with the Arrow, which is definitely my favorite of those 4. From the feel of it, it's the twitchiest, fastest, and nimblest ship in game, to me at least. From all ships I've tried.
Agree.
And it's deadly if you put some, or at least it used to be deadly. Not sure how it will be in 3.14, but it packs quite a punch for such a small and nimble ship. You're hard to hit, but if you get hit, well, that was it. It doesn't take much to blow up.
This that sword from Game of Thrones. What was it? Needle.
Excuse me. Come again?
Oh, the needle, the sword. Yeah,
the sword, the needle.
Yeah.
From Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You could say it's a needle.
Yeah.
I'm a very average PvPer, and pilots in an Arrow, typically they're always good pilots, and they absolutely, they tear me apart. But also, a little bit in my defense, I find that the Arrow is desynced harder than other ships. And a lot of people say that as well. Like, and you can tell when you target an Arrow and your pip starts dancing all around your screen like it's gone crazy. It is something you can actually confirm. You lock onto another ship and your pip settles down. You lock onto an arrow and your pip starts like going left, right, up, down. You're like, what the hell is going on with my targeting system? So
it's just so fast it confuses your radar.
Yeah, or the server tick rates. Yeah,
both might be the case.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at? Size 3 weapons?
You've got two size 3s on the wings, and you have a little pilot turret on top, which has two size 2 guns, and you can swap that for a size 3 fixed gun.
And you got 2 size 2 or 3 missiles that come turrets.
Yeah, I think it's size 2.
That's not too bad for a ship that small.
No, it packs a punch.
Dimensions.
Packs a punch.
Oh yeah, the arrow definitely packs a punch. And the only thing is, it doesn't take much of a beating. So
yeah.
It relies on its speed and your pilot skills, basically. But it's fun. It's super fun. If you like fun flying, well, you pick an arrow.
Yeah, I might check that out.
And most people, don't all the good like streamers and stuff, when they do low flying, Arrow's definitely one of the ships they use, isn't it, for low flying?
It's got a really good profile for that. I mean, it's
in the atmosphere,
basically shaped like an arrowhead.
Yeah. I fear one. Don't get me wrong. When I see one, I fear one. Like I'm like, okay. And usually they're always pretty good pilots. You don't get too many.
The small ships are hard to fucking hit, especially if you're like in a heavy fighter.
Yeah,
it's almost best to just fucking stay in one place because they're gonna be zipping around like they got ADHD anyway. So you just fucking lock onto them, stop, and then start targeting them that way.
That's when they're bad pilots. A good arrow pilot will always be hanging at your 6 and giving you help.
Yeah.
If you're in a slower ship, that's a problem with them. With the arrow, really, that it's so fast. They can just circle you in the time you need to. I don't know, to turn your freelancer around. You're already at the back again.
I won't fly a freelancer. I hate that fucking shit.
It was just an example.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they've reduced pitch rates and yaw rates. It's impacted the light fighters the most.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. And then the bubble shield for the size 1 and size 2 ships, again, most of the light fighters in that class, so they get impacted by that as well. So they're trying to reel in that light fighter end of the scale and make multi-crew ships and bigger ships, more effective against them.
Yeah. Makes sense, though. I mean, if you think about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so happy with all these changes, to be honest, and excited to relearn all these systems and stuff.
Well, I know one of the ships on this list that I love the most, and I've been flying it because it was actually my second ship. But I've gotten to be a much better pilot since I started flying it, is the Vanguard. I have the Sentinel version.
Mm-hmm.
I put an attrition 5 on the front end.
Poof.
That's a nice situation when you're blasting them away with that laser.
Yeah.
And I left the ATVS repeaters on there. So that's normally what I run. As far as that ship, it's a heavy fighter, right?
Yep.
So
which one in particular? There's 4 Vanguards.
Sentinel. I run the Sentinel, so that's what I have.
Yeah,
and actually, I'm gonna buy every single one of them when we get the Hoplite, the Warden, and Harbinger. That's how much I love the ship.
Wow. Okay.
The Sentinel is the E-Warfare edition of them. So you also have an EMP. Did you play around with that?
Yeah. So the Sentinel actually, and one of the things that if people research the Sentinel itself, that version, is the EMP. In the future, at some point, I think more so when the game goes live 10 years from now, you will no longer have the EMP. It's supposed to, in the future, shift from the EMP to more of the hacking gameplay, like it's going to be a hacking ship. The reason why I bought the shit Sentinel and specifically was the player that was training me that was a pretty good pilot. He was like, okay, I like the Sentinel. I have all of them. I do use the EMP when I'm fighting the Hammerhead, so just buy that and then roll with it. And it wasn't a bad purchase. Although now that I've learned more and I'm a better pilot, the Harbinger seems to seem like a ship because I actually don't use the EMP that much. It takes some finesse and strategy because you have to break down the shield once you know what side of the shield that you've broken down. Now that they're bubbles, that's something totally different. But you got to break down the shield. Once you get the shield broken down, you're going to want to be within like a 300 to 500 meter range from whatever you're trying to get. You know, you got to wait for it to charge. Once it charges at a relatively decent rate, but you got to be very careful that you don't charge it and then go into the 200, 300 meter range. And or you don't charge it waiting until you get to that point because it'll suck your power. And I would imagine with the new power system or power management system, you could fuck yourself really fast with that. So there's a bit of strategy with that.
You just freaking like I have no idea how EMPs actually fall into the capacitance system, like what impact they have. I have no idea. So I
don't either. I'm assuming that it's going to have a major effect because that's a lot of power that you're expulsing or expelling from your ship. So I mean, it's got to come from somewhere. I would imagine if they've programmed it decently, it would necessarily have to affect it. But as far as the ship itself, this functionality, to be a heavy fighter, as of this current patch 3.13, it's maneuverable. You can get in, get out, do what you need to do. Typically what I do when I fight the Hammerhead is I notice that when you're fighting a Hammerhead, if you have no other ships around you, you can go directly into it and fight it at about 200 to 300 meters and you've nerfed the whole entire fucking thing because it's not maneuverable enough to hit you unless, say, you have a fully crewed one and all of the turrets are operating. But as far as the NPC ships, when you're on a bounty, get within 200, 300 meters. They can't hit you. And what I'll do is I'll just fly all the way around it and stay outside of the turrets. And then they'll never be able, if you're capable of flying that way, never hit me once you get into that range. So as far as the Vanguard, very beefy ship. Man, I rammed the damn Hammerhead at, I'm assuming, low HP and then split that bitch in half with it. When you fly this ship, dude, you can have both wings blown off and still get to where you need to go. I have finished many bounty rounds with one wing. I've had two wings knocked off and was still able to get back to port just fine. I love it, man.
It's like the A10.
That's pretty much the contrary of the next ship we're going to talk about, which is the Esperia Talon. You as much as look at those wings and you go spinning into space. It's
but
does anybody have any experience with this?
Mate, the Talon is the meta right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great ship. Don't get me wrong. But,
2 size 4s.
It has like
exactly. The guns are
epic.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
For a ship that size, it's pretty hardcore. Let's be honest here, especially for how nimble it is. I mean, the Hartwell has the same size guns, but
so is this still available for sale in the game, or is it one of those things you got to go to the gray market for?
Ooh, I don't know if it's in the game, but it's definitely the meta, man. Everyone's flying Talons. Even like the Arrow is less common than the Talon since the Talon came out. Yeah.
I mean, I did the same when the Talon came out. I upgraded my Arrow to a Talon. So
Oh, there
I'm
you go.
guilty as charged.
Someone on Spectrum's like, God damn it, I'm so sick of like a fighter that was from a race that we won 2 wars against is dominating the verse. How does that work?
Yeah, the irony, right? The
Yeah.
irony. So no turrets. This is single pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Augmented reality cockpits.
Yeah, the
Augmented
cockpits
reality
are nice.
cockpits.
Let me see this shit on the menu.
Right. So the cockpit, Delta, is augmented reality. You're not actually looking outside. You're looking at a computer screen that's showing outside, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
lots of little triangles everywhere that light up all one after the other.
Yeah.
And now that it works, it's actually pretty cool. I remember when the Talon first came out, you always had that issue that the cockpit would go open and stay
Yeah.
open and close back up and then have the screen off and yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's still available in the game.
You could last get it on Alien Week, as far as I remember.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not advertising it, but I do know that if there's ships that you're interested in, that you can find them third party and get them in game from very reputable sources. Trying to see what it would be.
I don't do that.
I know a bunch of people that do, and they all have had success with it. So if there is a ship that you want that you can't find, you can always find it there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is available in the game for purchase anymore.
Yeah.
It might not be right now.
Yeah, it's not bad, man.
With AUEC, I think you can actually buy it at Lorville.
Do you guys like the bird design? I know the
I'm kind of torn. I mean, I really like the front bit, but those it's got those 2 long thingies that stick out the back.
Yep.
Those just look structurally
Fragile.
unstable.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the best case.
Yeah.
And then if I lose a wing, because I have a tendency, and I don't know why I have this tendency, to accept the fact that NPCs will kamikaze your ass. So
yeah.
they run into me a lot because my dumb ass just won't learn my lesson. And it happens every single time. I'll lose a damn wing over them kamikazing me. So if you get kamikazed in this, you're fucked. The Vanguard, you can still roll with it, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. You throw a rock at the Talon and it goes boom. It doesn't take a beating. It's similar to the Arrow in that regard. It's made to be nimble and fast and strike hard and get the fuck out again.
So there's actually 2 versions of that: the Shrike,
yes,
and just the regular Talon.
There's the regular Talon.
Okay, so it is still available in the game. You can get it at Area 18. You can get the regular Talon. Area 18, 1.8
million.
Just round it up. 1.9.
There you go. There you go.
Let's see. The Shrike.
Shrike's like a missile boat.
Missile boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it carries more missiles and heavier missiles.
Okay, so you're going to be looking at like a 2.3 kind of situation. 2.3 mil. That's not bad. I mean, if it's the meta, that's pretty cheap because the Vanguard is way more expensive.
Yeah, but we'll see about meta. They are trying to move away from that. So
that is going to be a thing with the Re-14.
Just Talons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to see a verse of just Talons.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be crap.
You get tired of seeing the same old ship every day.
Yeah. So that's that, but nonetheless, it's a ship I fear. People like I've been, like I said, going in my Drake Buccaneer, which has got like I think a third of the hit point. Like you guys say, like the Talon's fragile. Like Buccaneer, I think has got like a third of the hit points that the Talon
That's
has.
made out of toothpicks and duct tape. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm rolling in. But I fear greatly arrows and talons when I see them in the verse.
Well, understandable. I mean, they can be quite a nuisance.
Yeah. What's the next ship?
The two best PvPers in my org use the next ship a lot, actually. This Aegis, the Sabre.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is an Aegis ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sabre. So it's a single pilot. You have no turrets, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
correct. Yep.
Single seater.
Yeah. You got 2 size 3 on one side, 2 size 3s on the other side. So that's
a lot of size 3s already.
I was about to say that's 4 size 3s. You could really fuck some shit up with that.
Mm.
And then you got 2 sets of 2 size 4 missiles.
Yep.
The Sabre is pretty hardcore, really. And another thing it has to its advantage is its stealth capabilities.
Stealth, and it's got 2 fuel tanks intakes.
That too.
2 fuel intakes. 3 power plants. Holy shit.
Yeah, but I think that also changed now with 314. They also changed the amount of shields it had and such.
Yeah.
It used to have 2, and I think now it only has 1.
Shield generators?
No,
it has 4 shield generators.
No. Wait a sec. Because the website, the ship matrix and stuff is just like propaganda. Let me tell you.
Propaganda.
Yeah, it's a meme. The ship matrix is a meme in the community.
That's bullshit, man.
That's true, man.
It's true. So they don't. I don't know why they don't ever update it. So the best place to go is the only Urkel. Yeah.
Dum-dum-dum.
And that is this is 314. So shields. It's still showing at 2, but that's maybe because I didn't. Oh, it's 313.
Power plants. It's still got 2 power plants. Still got 2 coolers.
Sorry, 314. I think it went down. Yeah, it went down to 2 shields from 3 shields.
Still got your size 3s. 4 size 3s.
4 size 3s still.
Yeah.
Yep.
You only got these two of your missile racks.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have your 4 missile racks.
No.
Yeah.
Two missiles.
Yeah. That would have been a bit fucking epic to have 2 sets of 2 size 4 missiles.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten to where I'll use on my Vanguard, I have size 3 and 4 missiles that I use there. I get a little more distance on those, which I appreciate, as opposed to trying to get in much closer.
Yeah. So do me a favor, guys. Picture of an F-14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sabre, I'm pretty sure, with its 2 engines, and look at the tail at the back of the Sabre. You know, this is inspired partly by an F-14, and
which is cool. I like the looks of it.
Yeah, I love the Sabre. So I have a Sabre. I love it. I've had some kills in it, which is great and rare. But previously, I got shredded by arrows and talons. But I'm really interested to see with the new flight model and all that stuff, what this thing can do.
Yeah,
I know that the 2 PvPers and my org, they're always using the Sabre.
That's good.
They're actually pretty good. I think it has more to do with them testing it out and its capabilities. The other night, they decided to raise hell together in 2 different Sabres, and for the most part, they wound up killing themselves. Space debris has been a huge fucking issue lately.
They hit an asteroid or something, or parts of a ship.
The other day, I had a fucking what looked like the size of an alternator in comparison to my damn Vanguard that I drove through a hammerhead, and this damn space debris blew my fucking ship up. Multiple times. I get blown up probably by space debris twice a day now. It's fucking crazy. It's been a pain in the ass because a lot of the ERTs and VHRTs that I run, especially ERTs, they'll load up in asteroid and debris fields.
Yeah.
When you get that, you have to be more concerned about space debris than you do the actual NPCs at that point. It's a pain in the ass. It makes me shit and do. I'll be sitting there lining up, and then your field of vision, you see, there's nothing. Then you're sliding across, and then you feel your ship shake, and it's like, oh shit, I hit something. God damn. And then you're looking at it, and it's just a little piece of metal. Like, fuck. But I guess in reality, if that little piece of metal fucking pierced your ship, you would be fucked.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I guess it gets through your shields.
Yeah, exactly. So what's your favorite ship? If you had to pick one out of these four, which one would
Vanguard.
you? Vanguard.
Yeah. I mean, look at it, it's loaded down with fucking missile decks. You got the 2 size 2 turrets, and then the biggest advantage to that is you can put a size 5 fucking weapon on the nose. That's amazing.
Which one's the one that's...
I'd go with the arrow.
Arrow, okay.
Just because it's fun. Yeah, it's just fun, man. The arrow's fun.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
I like domination.
There's a Vanguard that's got 4 guns on the nose, right? Is that right?
4 guns? Let me see.
Yeah, that's got those additional guns that looks like one of those old Flying Fortress things, you know?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. At the same time, Delta, Google Messerschmitt 110, ME 110. So that thing has got 4 guns on the nose, or one version of it. It's got 2 engines, exactly like the Vanguard. It's got a turret, and it's a heavy fighter. And that's exactly what the Vanguard's classified as. I think I heard them say that it's taken some inspiration from the Messerschmitt 110, amongst other aircraft as well.
A bomber's worst nightmare is what this article reads.
And the Messerschmitt's got many variants as well, just like the Vanguard. So
let's see that. So that's an Aegis ship. The Vanguard. I think that might. Let's see what the Harbinger's got on it.
One of them's got like 4 guns. It looks exactly like one of the Messerschmitts. It's got 4 cannons right on the nose. I forgot which one though.
Yeah, I see it. It looks like it's the Harbinger.
Okay.
The Harbinger has more missiles.
Do they all have a bed? All variants?
Yet there is a bed in mine, I know for a fact.
That's handy.
Yeah, as far as I know, all 4 of them have like actually 2 beds, isn't it? Like for pilot and co-pilot.
I do. When I open that ramp up, I go straight up directly to the cockpit and roll the fuck out. I never have time to take the scenic route.
You should. You got like 2 bunk beds, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to know that I didn't have that, or that I did have that.
And you know, like when distance and stuff becomes more of a factor in fuel, like the Vanguard's going to come even into more of its own, like as in strengths, because you're going to have range, you're going to be able to sleep, log out, or whatever. And you know, heavy fighters typically have got long range to escort their ships or whatnot, strike behind enemy lines.
Sweet as fuck. Yeah, for me, it's going to be the Vanguard all the way. All the way.
Yeah.
Hey, what's yours, Moss?
Well, I own a Sabre and a Talon. I like the Talon. I like the alien-looking ships. It brings it brings kind of an identity to Star Citizen because everyone's got human ships in all sci-fi, but when you look at the alien ships, you begin to identify that sci-fi game. Like, oh, that's like Deathwing, TIE Fighter. That's Star Wars, and the Klingon ship is Star Trek. So it's tough, man. But in real life, I love the F-14 so much that I think I'm going to roll with the Aegis Sabre, and I hope that I can use it more effectively in 314.
There you go. So what we're gonna do now? We're gonna shift into the lore section.
Lore.
This is a really interesting lore. Last week we left off with the UEE. The fact that I can't stand the UEE leads us into another position this week with the this week it was released a conversation from Lure about law and disorder, and there was a article on that. And what it dealt with was the Nexus situation, to where it was more like the outlaw version of a system similar, say, to the American Wild West at the time. The UEE doing what it does in its fashion, trying to cleanse an area and bring its morality to a situation. They struggled there, and they had to multiple times bring more and more troops. Military is getting his ass kicked, and what did they do? They try to reevaluate the situation, re-strategize, come into a situation where they wound up being able to take one of the areas in Nexus.
Yep, Nexus
and
3.
Then, left the Nexus 4 outlaw still. It's really interesting to me with the UEE. I think there's a philosophical issue there, because as long as it feels like it has the moral high ground, it's always going to continue to impose its authority everywhere it decides to go. It's pretentious that way, and it's quite fucking disturbing, man. I mean, just reading through this article, who the fuck cares if this area is lawless? Like, maybe it just wants to be lawless, but the UE comes through and they're like, nah, guys, you have to have law and order, and they're like, nah, we're fine with this, because the whole entire situation of the area of Nexus was chilling out, fucking being unlawful. Or
yeah, I mean, and that's why, like, when Nexus 3 got finally toppled and overtaken by the UAE, they didn't allow for Nexus 4 to be invaded, because A, they lost so many men and stuff in the process, and B, Nexus 3 is a resourceless planet. Like, there's no value to the UEE, so
always comes down to money.
So, you say, Delta, like, who gives a crap if this corner of the universe is a little bit out there, and I suppose as long as they don't kill UEE ships and stuff, which I don't think they did. I'm not 100% sure. It's not clear in this article. I think they were just criminals making money in whatever way they could, but UE didn't.
Well,
go ahead, Ace.
You could argue that they commit crimes outside of the Nexus system and committed in UEE space, so I could see why the UEE decided to go after them at some point.
Yeah,
And we're talking about a whole entire different system, man. So
it's not just one planet.
Yeah, a system. Fucking UEE is going into every system one at a time, trying to slowly take it over everything. And as Moz touched base last week, identified the fact that it's built into the name Empire.
Absolutely.
So anytime that you have the connotation you might as well accept the fact that it's going to be an imperial power and is going to want to impose its authority every fucking where it goes. So essentially, as soon as you see that shit show up at your doorstep, go ahead and blow that bitch out the water. Because if you don't, it's going to be a cancer. Because as soon as that first ship shows up, it may be sampling and researching what's in the area, and then it's going to go back and report. And then not too long after that, you're going to have them jumping into your shit. You just sit at the jump points. And anytime they're there jumping through, just as soon as they come through, just kill them. That is the best fucking thing you can do for your system. And I would broadcast that to all systems.
Delta's been in Star Citizen for a month or two now, and you're the most passionate anti-UEE guy I know.
Yeah. Oh, because okay, let me tell you something, man. About me as an individual. I am very much against government authority. Period. And I think that humanity has an opportunity to separate itself from traditional forms of government as we have evolved over, I don't know, let's just start with writing the past 6,000 years. We have collectively started as a human culture, writing things down. And as we move and evolve, colonialism was a huge push to expanding more rights for an individual. I think somewhere out in the future of the human species, there's more rights for the individual to be found. And I think one of the things that we'll find as well is colonialism in space is going to be the next step to tweaking how much public authority has power over the individual. We'll move more into a corporatocracy, and that I think is going to come with obviously any human social systems, no matter what it is. I just am very anti-government because essentially it's the bureaucratic systems, they get convoluted, they get overbloated with the tax system. Like tax systems, you're going to pay $8 billion for an X1 drive when you can go to New Babbage and get it for $100,000. Like, why would we do that? And then not to mention, you still slowly starts to erode the individual's rights. I'm very adamantly opposed to government authority. I think individuals, an educated populace, and this is an ideal scenario, an educated populace can work together with mutual agreements and contracts. Now, what authority determines, the justice in that, then you would necessarily have to have some form of review, a board, and we don't necessarily have to have government entities to do that.
Mate, I agree. I agree. I think there's a million different ways to govern humans. I just haven't sat and thought about it at all. But there's one of the Star Marine maps, The Good Doctor. I think it's called The Good Doctor. I should know. I play Star Marine a lot. The Good Doctor. I think it's about a doctor who on a planet that was UEE, and I could be wrong, he kind of rebels, right? And like what you touched on, Delta, how does governments exert power over vast distances, like galaxies? It's freaking hard, right? You can't just fly a F-14 over, or send a Navy ship. It's a lot more complex. So this guy just goes rogue, and I think he's sets up a cult, on this planet, and that's actually what one of the Star Marine maps is actually based on. Someone like you, maybe Delta, going rogue, setting up your own colony.
Well, that's essentially what I'm doing with the Order of Zion, man.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm for the version. Okay, when you're dealing with anarchy, it has on the surface of it an idea of no order, no control, and it's typically colloquially accepted as um, chaos, and that's not necessarily true. It,
Yeah,
it, it,
that's the
it
uneducated truth.
correct, the uneducated truth. The idea here is that if there's anybody that disagrees, let's take the idea of government. What fucking form of government would you say, I want that? I want that version of government. No, you may say, I want a democratic system because it gives a little more rights to the individual as a whole. But who the fuck wants government? Not me. And most people would be like, a government is inefficient, it's ineffective. The quality of anything it puts its hands on just deteriorates. So it's almost like it's an antimatter, if you understand what I'm saying, what I'm
Yeah.
trying to use that analogy for. It just dissolves everything. It's like a fucking acid and cancer in the universe. Now, let's take like a well-ran corporate entity. Um, they're efficient, they're effective, and who fucks that up are the managers. So if you have good management structure, you have a culture built into the system, because at the end of the day, if we're not making money, if we're not effective but also producing a certain level of quality, because this is the demographic that we're trying to achieve. Imagine if you applied those principles to managing a society as a whole. It very well could be a more effective, efficient, and not perfect by any means, nor achieving an ideal, because at that point in time, we'd have to move to something else. We have to constantly change, but we can't separate ourselves from the old ideas of terrestrial government because we haven't cut that fucking head of the snake off yet to completely separate ourselves from that idea.
Just move to Nexus 4.
Well,
That's what Delta will be hanging out with. Nexus
I
4.
bet, man.
but they're already in Nexus, so they already set up shop. And I can tell you now that if you don't get them out
Yeah,
of there, they've even gone to the Nexus system and went there. It's called Nexus. They're cool with being called Nexus, and they even decided to change the fucking name back to Hawthor. Like, who gave you that fucking right? How do you just show up in a completely different system and like, oh no, y'all can't call this shit that. We're gonna go, and really what it is it's just the human nature, especially the nature of government from terrestrial bodies is control, domination, military might, and self-appointed moral high ground related to, there's a lot of different aspects that got put into that, especially from, terrestrial religion. Like, my religion is the best, and if you don't conform, you die in an inquisition. That's essentially what they're doing. They're on a damn an inquisition throughout every fucking system that they can find a jump point to. But I personally think that you need to set up shop at your joint jump point in your system, and if anything with the letters UEE comes through, just shoot it. I mean, just shoot it. Unadulterated violence on it.
I see them a little bit like the Roman Empire of the NT, you know?
Yeah, actually, it's less like the Roman Empire to me, because Roman Empire actually did good shit. Like, even though it was fucked up and wanted to be an empire, I agreed the expansion there was true, and then the sun never set on the Roman Empire. However, with the UEE, what are they doing? Like, they're not going in here, they're not building great fucking structures and adding, say, Roman Empire during for the technology of its time. implementing roads, aqueducts, certain shit that those cultures didn't even fucking comprehend. And that the UEE's just doing this shit just to fucking do it because they ain't got nothing else to do. But they have to send their soldiers somewhere, and and now you know what's going to happen very soon. They're gonna damn start forcing us if we got fines to work for them. Like fuck you, I don't want to work for you. I could just give you the UEC and then roll about my fucking business. I don't want to have to be forced to fucking work for you. I'd go damn to prison and then break out of prison and go find their headquarters and blow that shit up, suicide bombing.
Jesus
See,
Christ.
that lesson wasn't very successful.
Yeah. So that's the whole philosophy of our org, dude. Is anti UEE fucking period.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day in the org, just trying to fill out how passionate I was about it. Said, okay, we're gonna do merc work, obviously. What if the UEE wanted you to do merc work and they offered a very hefty fine or a fee? And I told him, I was like, dude, it's not about money. You have to have certain things in life to where you will die and be a martyr for it. And there's nothing that could be given to you or done to you that would change your mind fundamentally, even if you were willing, or even if they were willing to murder you or crucify you, torture you, and you never concede to the opposition. That is when you know you're passionate about an idea. And those are fundamental principles that everyone should have. You should have things that you would die for. And one of those things is government control of the people, I think. And I think insurrection is healthy to cut off the head and completely obliterate any government authority that has terrestrial origin. I think it is a cultural cancer.
Here. Touchy subject, but that's Delta in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So, can I just say then, just to wrap, we'll wrap it up after this.
Are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah,
We'll
go. But I'm just going to ask for the record if there's missions in the game from the UEE, then you'll never do them, right?
Fuck those missions.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just want to clarify that. And nor will your members be allowed to do them. Is that right, Delta?
No, if they do them, they're out because their philosophy is not as deep.
Champion, all right, cool. Just testing the waters.
So to say this along to answer your question, I had a coalition meeting, and I had a subsequent meeting with the leader of the coalition because I hadn't decided if I was going to be a part of the coalition or not. So I needed to come up with some deal breakers for me. So I told him the other day, I was like, dude, understand that if there's any organization that enters this coalition that is affiliated with the UEE or has any support for the UEE, I cannot be a part of this.
Yeah.
Cannot do it.
Yeah.
Won't do it at all.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all right. It is time for open mic time, guys, where we all come up with an idea, suggestion, a problem, something we just want to rant and rave about. So I might kick things off. It's an idea. It's an idea, guys. So the capacitance system, I want to touch on that because that's going to touch all your lives soon if you jump in a spaceship. You guys tell me if this is a good idea or not, and it might not be. So I've got an idea how to tweak it. I know it's version 1. It's going to continue to get balanced. So it's a shame you guys haven't played it, because then you'd kind of feel what I'm saying. So it might be a little bit hard to
I
describe.
felt your pain earlier when you were saying every few seconds you were having to fucking change back and forth with 3 different buttons. That pissed me off.
Yeah, yeah,
You had to do that because I was actually sitting here
and
functioning that way.
yeah,
It's crazy.
and people are doing it. Like, everyone in the PTU are like the hardcore players, so they're all constant. You can tell that they're constantly managing their power, which is, it's good that there's another layer, but micromanagement at that level. The thing that I thought would be good. So let's just recap: the guns, the shields, and the engines are all tied together with this capacitance system, right? And you kind of have to choose when it's in neutral mode. My experience was none of them recharge fast enough in a dogfight to serve any purpose for you, right? So you have to continually switch between the 3. But what I would like to see as a medium is decouple the afterburner from the weapon and the shield, right? So that now your capacitance decisions are weapon or shield. Okay, I can live with that. But with the afterburner, I'm even okay with still having a bar, right, for the afterburner, right? But what happens at the moment is if you press boost and you use some of that afterburner bar, it takes a long time for it to recharge, unless you put full power to it, which means no shields, no weapons, right? Okay. So if you decouple the afterburner from the other 2 things, so keep the other 2 things together, so you either choose one or the other and all that sort of stuff, take the afterburner out, but have it such that if I boost and I only boost some of the bar away, it will recharge immediately if I stop boosting. So I get rewarded for not boosting the whole bar down to 0 type thing. But if I boost all the way down to 0, then yes, penalize me, give me a bit of a cooldown before it recharges itself. But I think the recharge should be pretty fast and independent of whether or not the capacitance is set to shields or weapons, if that makes sense. So pull out afterburner, still have a limit of a bar on it, have that limit of the bar, right? So you can't just hold down afterburner forever, but reward the player if he uses it in short bursts, so he can still maneuver aggressively, and penalize the player if he depletes the bar type thing. Anyway, I just thought that's just an idea to the universe. I'm just that's a good idea. Yeah. I mean,
sounds reasonable.
Think about it when you guys get your hands on the new capacitance system. So, because I'm choosing between, oh shit, should I regenerate my shield? Should I have some boost so I can actually afterburner a little bit out of So without afterburner, you're just a sitting duck a lot of times. You can't strafe, you can't change directions with massive amount of sort of speed. So anyway, well, yeah, that's kind of just an idea I had on capacitance.
As you were talking about that, I was trying to figure out, for those players that are keyboard and mouse players, what would be the best opportunity for them. A lot of them are going to have to probably put it on a mouse button, multiple mouse buttons, because I was looking at my mouse and then I was trying to think about my left hand, what I'm doing with my left hand constantly, and how many positions that I would be able to use keys. So your left hand is pretty much fucked by current standard.
Yeah.
It would have to go to your right hand, and in that case, you would necessarily have to put it on your mouse, because you can't remove your hand from your mouse to go to the numpad. That is fucked, dude. If you're gonna program it to a button.
Yeah, I mean,
you just need like 12 extra fingers and you'll be fine, man.
Put a second keyboard down at your feet
Man.
and like take your socks off and like use your toes.
Use your toes. I have short, fat feet and short, fat toes, so it won't work. I'll be hitting 3 buttons with 1 toe.
But that's just some food for thought, man, for this week's open mic. Anyone else got any thoughts or pains or anything?
Oh yeah, there's something I would like to talk about because it was like a cool community thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about Operation Icarus?
No, I haven't ever heard of that.
What's that?
Well, it's a bunch of players who flew to the center of the system and tried to fly to the Stenton Star. It took them 22 days, if I'm not wrong, to get there.
What?
Like they didn't use the quantum drive, and they had to switch servers and hop servers, and they were doing it in like shifts with.
This was a real-time situation.
Absolutely.
Holy shit.
22. Wait a second. Where did they fly from and to? Sorry, where did they start and where did they go?
I think they started at the what's it called, the Stanton Quantum Beacon for the star itself.
Right.
But that beacon is not at the star. It's still millions of kilometers away, and since you don't have any other means to fly there, they did it as an I guess they role played it a bit as expedition and to see what the sun looks like and stuff, and how close you can actually get to it before it blows your ship in.
Well, props to that fucking dedication.
Oh,
they were
wow.
dedicated to that as about as much as I'm dedicated to fucking the UE.
Pretty much, yeah. I thought something
deep,
like
dude.
that when you were talking. And
Could they get any close-up screenshots of the sun or anything that we typically wouldn't see, or do you know if there's any pictures?
I think so, but there weren't any in the video I saw.
Oh, okay, cool. I got to go check it out. What a bunch of legends!
Yeah, I'm actually googling that shit now. I mean, that's.
But yeah, that's
like a motherfucker.
that was pretty
22-day
interesting.
journey.
Yeah, and I thought it was worth mentioning because it's it kind of shows what sort of dedication people put into this game too. And
Yeah.
Now that is one thing as far as this game is concerned. The population is mostly PvEers. Slowly but surely, the PvPers will get in and affect it with toxicity for those that are toxic. Not to say all PvP, because I'm a PvPer and I'm not a toxic person, nor am I a criminal, which is relative. I'm a political refugee, I guess, because I decided that I would never participate in anything fucking terrestrial, so I came to Stanton to get the UEE the fuck out. However, we just ran. I lost my train of thought on that because I'm actually reading about the Icarus mission here.
So am I.
But, no, the players, the dedication, the will, the determination. That's where I was going with that. This is pretty fucking dedicated. 22 fucking
absolutely, that's
days.
why I felt would have to be mentioned.
That's absolutely fucking amazing.
Props from us, guys.
Definitely circulate some of their media. I found some of it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, congrats, dude. I would never participate in that, but that's interesting to know we have that number now. So as far as my open mic topic, I want to hit on the touch base on the death of a spaceman. That gets thrown around a lot in a lot of different areas for a lot of different things. So for those of you who don't know what death of a spaceman is essentially, and correct me if I say anything wrong, when your player dies in the game, you're going to have the ability to buy insurance and clone yourself X number of times, and after that X number of times is up, there's no more your account as that character is reset, but you get to take your assets and whatnot, but not your reputation and in-game credentials per se. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so your
correct.
assets are inherited by your next of kin. From what I understand, you will keep your in-game name, but it's the idea there is that's your next of kin. That is
Yeah.
not going to be able to be instituted for years.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've heard some people say, "Oh, well, death of a spaceman is looming." It's not fucking looming. It's not on
No.
the horizon. It's not coming imminently. So, anytime you hear that, that's bullshit. Throw the fucking bullshit flag on it. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, I totally agree on that.
If
I
they
mean, there's
institute
so
that
many
shit,
things.
they're gonna kill this fucking game. There are
Yeah.
so many opportunities. I mean, so many times that you die that's totally outside of your fucking control. Specifically, situations to where there's nothing that you could do in game to change it. Take, for instance, PO. PO is a target zone for griefers to just blow fucking people out of the sky. Moz was a part of that just not too long ago. You cannot even get off the fucking pad to get out of there to go anywhere. So, like, just for instance, the armistice zone is going to have to be expanded out because you can take a retaliator and target and shoot players outside of the armistice zone, or you can just fly through blowing them off the fucking pads. Like, there's a lot of shit that's going to have to be changed.
Well,
There's
yeah.
bugs that, like, Ace, you died the other day when we were trying to mine for no fucking apparent reason, and then woke up with a crime stat
Actually,
2.
I figured out what that bug is and how it was caused. I stood up during quantum travel, which kind of desyncs your character to the ship, which
Mhm.
later on causes you to be desynced with the server. And every time you walk into an elevator or up a ramp, it will kind of
So don't
be
do that for
confused. And
sure.
yeah, okay, just stay seated in QT.
How about that? I've actually had a situation where I tried to exit a turret in QT and fell out the fucking
Mhm.
ship, and then it
Yeah, that
bugged the
also
whole
happens.
damn ship. It bugged everybody. But the point there is that with Death of a Spaceman, there's a lot of times where there's a lot of
Yeah,
shit that's gonna have to be figured out because at this rate, I've been playing, a month. I would have already had 3 new fucking characters by now. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
constantly losing all of your progress, your rep, I mean, that's going to frustrate the hell out of players. And I understand having repercussions on death. I think there's a better way to go about than penalizing the players on their grind. Uh, The last MMO I played, instead of fucking with your character and deleting it and making you have to use grind back up all your skills, they did it to where you got every time you died, certain amount of points were taken away from your skills. So and if your alignment is what they called it, which is quote unquote your morality. If your morality was low, when you died, you had a higher penalty. If your morality was high, when you died, you had a lower penalty. So I think there's a better way to go about that, but they've already decided that they're going to dedicate themselves to Death of a Spaceman. But we're years away from that. Years away.
Yeah, well, I think it will definitely influence the willingness of players to take risks or to engage in combat instead of fleeing. I think it makes the game more interesting. And the other thing is, it wouldn't work with a point system like this because we have no skills with points. Your skill is your skill.
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
That's the downside. I mean, we don't have any sort of skill system.
But
You're
when
just as
when
good
we
as
get
you are.
server meshing, here's what's going to happen. Watch, write this shit down. When we
I'm
get
writing.
server meshing, when server meshing comes in, when flight and combat and PvP gets more focused gameplay, and they can log in without getting disconnected and glitching and bugging. PvP is going to fucking change the landscape because there's going to be toxic players that are just going to hunt people and try to kill them over and over and over. And I know they've already dealt with griefing at one point, but if one player kills you, then that's one death. If you die again later, that's another death. It could be a completely different player in a completely different org. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be shitting from having 5 clones. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting situation to deal with when it gets launched, but I could see that being a highly volatile situation.
And it's far out. It's not anywhere near in sight.
I keep hearing people throw it around.
Yeah, but
I don't even like
people
to hear
say
it
a lot
anymore.
of bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it is like, you know, CIG are extremely intelligent, and it's so far out. They know it's far out. I think, Delta, you're addressing the community. You keep, like, some parts of the community that they see a hospital and a med bed, and, like, Chris Roberts will mention something or something, you know, article be written, and they're like, oh, it's around the corner maybe. But yeah, I think that can just be ignored. The CIG know fully well that it's so far out at the moment. 30K is almost like a death in a way. Mm-hmm. You know, or out of sync, desync will kill you. This will kill you. That will kill you. The CIG know this. Moving away from Star Citizen and just talking about gaming, like, I play games in hard difficulty, and come check out my streams. Like, and to my own detriment, some streams I'll be there and I'll be headbutting a wall for like 3 hours, but I won't give up. And I like games that have, like, punishing death. I'm kind of a fan of that. So I really am. Like, I would not even mind if, you know, this is provided everything is stable. Somehow magically they get rid of griefers. So this won't happen, what I'm asking, but I wouldn't mind a game that's kind of so realistic that, you know, you lose. Like, Elite kind of has it. Like, you can lose all your ships in Elite. It's crazy. Like,
that's probably why they're mass migrating.
No. No, but mate, the adrenaline rush you have in a dogfight and surviving a dogfight, knowing that, you know, you're not going to lose your money or your ship. Not all your ships, sorry. You lose the ship that you're in, sorry. Obviously, you can't do that for ships that you've bought in CIG, but, you know, the ships you buy in-game, I wouldn't mind those disappearing if you die, but people are going to throw tomatoes at me, I know. But I like devastating deaths.
No, I totally agree. I mean,
death penalty is necessary.
That's a whole layer of danger, and
that's part of living in a persistent universe.
But you're right, it can't be done, Delta. It can't be, because some nutter is going to just come and, like, he might not even have anything. Or imagine this nutter has just died and he's lost everything. So if he dies again, it doesn't matter. So he just goes around and, like, kills everyone else's dream. Like, and it's just
a lot of loops that could be played into that. So when we are able to scan ships and players and, you know, their reputation level, or how often they're criminals, etc., we could start targeting players like that that are griefing people. Now, I'm not really big on, you know, the development company regulating griefers. In an MMO, I am of the opinion that the players should regulate griefers. Band together. Once you're able to scan, find people, track people, know where they are, fucking grief them. You know, I'm not about account bans and all this shit. Now, there's, to a level and extent, there's got to be a line to where the controlling entity has to get into it. But I know the previous situation where they did some count bans. When the devs start getting into count bans, that's a very, very precarious situation. Because you got a lot of little whining ass bitches out there that can get good players in trouble.
I don't know. I'm a bit new to MMOs. I'm new to this sort of hardcore PvP environment, so I kind of flip and flop between account bans and not account bans. I kind of disagree with account bans in the alpha state when things are all a bit broken. There's not much to do. Things don't matter. It doesn't matter if I lose my ship. Doesn't matter. I don't lose. The money's meaningless for me. So if someone just griefs me continuously by pad ramming me, and I have to jump a server, who cares? But, oh, mate, if they have Death of a Spaceman, some guys, it's like a suicide, like if he's a suicide bomber, and that's all he's doing, and he's not taking the game seriously, man, I don't know what I'll be thinking.
Perfect example why I don't support account bans. Here, and we'll run with this, then we'll move to what's next.
Shoot.
You have a griefer. They're griefing the shit out of a group.
Yeah.
The group asked them to stop. All right. So now the griefer brings his friends up. His friends, they think they're badass. What he doesn't know is that group has some of the better PvPers in the game. And their philosophy is not to fight, nor fucking, they got a higher moral standard. They continue. But when that group decides to raise hell and bust ass, they don't fucking stop. They just follow them everywhere in the game. The one that was originally on the defense follows them. Yeah, and now they're fucking them up. And then those players that were originally the griefers are now getting their ass kicked over and over, and they're getting a taste of their own medicine. Now they start whining and bitching, but not in the game to the players that are doing it to them, but to the devs, and then the players that were originally defending themselves, pushing those players out of their fucking way and, essentially trying to get them the fuck out of their area, get the account ban. I've seen that happen before.
Right, yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Yeah. I can see it going wrong. No justice system is going to be, 100%. Absolutely agree. There's no justice system that's going to be 100% accurate unless everyone's recording every screenshot and every video. And
that's usually when it happens. And those players are the ones that are usually recording shit. So they have more record of it than the say PvEers that were protected back at PvP.
Yeah.
But
interesting topic.
Open mic.
Yep. I think I'll pass on to
I guess.
Ace.
Yeah.
Ace.
Okay, we go on with the next segment, I think. Yeah. Agree, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, let's just choose a couple of those and then.
Okay, cool. Because we got some questions from the viewers, and Captain Slash would like to know what side is everyone on for Xenothreat, if we can choose.
You know what I mean.
Delta, please, can you break down? No, just kidding. We know Delta's answer. Yeah.
Yes.
Ace?
Well, I got my CDF badge already. I want to see if I can get a Xenothreat badge next. Let's go with that.
So,
what about you, Mark?
as part of the skeleton crew, we're businessmen, right? So there's a suit that's available at Orison, so now I wear a suit and tie because that's what we do. So we're about business, right? So we don't have allegiances with the government or this or that or the other. So my answer to you is whichever one. Not always. That's too simplistic. A combination of pays the most and has some other side benefits that could maybe pay us even more in the future.
In the long term.
Yeah, it's not just the who pays the most. We're a bit more nuanced than that, but yeah,
fair enough.
That's the answer.
Okay, cool. Okay, the next question is, what about Ninetales? Pretty much the same question. We'll have the Ninetales lockdown, and you're going to be on the Ninetales side, or are you going to support the UEE?
Yeah, you know the answer to that question.
Delta's already answered that, and I'm going to try both. Like I said, Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I'm going to one day Ninetales, one day UEE.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to take it with the Ninetales too. It's I want to see both sides and don't want to limit myself in the experience I can have.
Yeah.
So if you can make money off of both, why not?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, got another question. Who would win in a fight, Ace, Delta, or Moz?
Do I have a fully crewed hammerhead?
I don't know. I mean,
I
I'm
reckon.
a relatively
I
new
reckon.
player,
I
period.
reckon. To be honest, I don't know about you. I reckon right now, Delta, I could easily handle you right now. But then in a few months, you'll be wrecking shit up. Only because you're new. That's all.
Yeah.
Only because you're new.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would not sit here and be opposed to.
But then I wouldn't be
us challenge
surprised.
that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you kicked my ass down. I'm a very average fighter. I kind of get my ass kicked.
I'm actually getting much better at piloting. I've never played any type of flight simulation game, so I had to learn the dexterity and the mechanics for that.
Yeah.
You know, mapping that in my mind and my muscle memory from scratch. So I think I'm doing fairly well to have just started that, because I've noticed that some players that never played Star Citizen that have had flight simulators before or played them are actually pretty good pilots in this, because there's a lot of, you know, intuition there involved with the mechanics, what to do, and a lot of it's similar.
So I'll say this:
So-
Ace, you come first because your name's Ace and you're from Stanton. I'm in the middle, and Delta comes third. And that,
We may have to test this theory.
yeah,
This-
that might all change. That might all change in the next month for sure.
Yeah, I can accept that. Okay, next question. Favorite ship manufacturer and why? You go first, guys. Whoever
I
wants
guess
to.
that's kind of relative. I do like Aegis ships for combat so far have been pretty consistent for the most part, from what my personal experience. And then what's the company that makes the 600i?
Origin.
Origin.
Okay, so Origin ships, I like the aesthetic that they present.
Okay.
I'm a Drake man. Like the Caterpillar is my favorite ship, doing logistics and stuff. And yeah, it's a bit of a heartache because Drake. I love Drake so much, but yeah, it's tough being a Drake guy sometimes.
But it's pretty. I mean, it's what you like, man.
yeah. And you, Ace?
Well, I'm a Crusader man myself.
Very popular.
I love the aesthetics and the modern feel they have. And next up, I'd say Anvil, because they make some pretty nice ships too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that question. Let's see. We got another question. Delta has a cool idea about changing Star Citizen role-playing way. What gave him the idea to start an org this way?
So, as far as Star Citizen is concerned, having to shift from my old MMO, I was pretty much forced out by the developers because they closed down the MMO server. I'm a dedicated player, so I played that game from its alpha state until they closed down the servers in 2020 December. The alpha was in 2014, so almost the entirety of a full 7 years when it was actually released. I got into MMOs there, played that game pretty hard, and then as I got into the MMO, I started developing, getting interacted in player-created content. Then that's what drew me to MMOs. Then once I got into it, I started thinking about my own avenues for player-created content. Anytime I play a game, I always start my own group because no one thinks the way I do. And when I first started and I joined other people, I would find that my ideas were stifled to the extent that people just don't really comprehend the way I think and how deep I think. And I get so obsessive about ideas that this is what we're going to do. and I'm going to achieve this. And if you challenge me and tell me, oh, you can't do that, then it makes it amplifies it. So over the past 4 years, I've developed, those ideas and theories, and I knew that when I got into Star Citizen, I wanted to bring my RP philosophy, to Star Citizen. Was developing those ideas, and then as we go along and things change, I will tweak them. But overall, the general direction of it makes it very intense for the players. So the individuals that are in the org that know the deeper aspects of my long-term goal, they've actually had to adapt their gameplay, but they knew that prior to joining that it was going to be pretty intense. And it's not so where I make role play interesting. And those players that have decided to play with me would have to do agree, because I always ask them, is this too much? Oh, no, actually, I've never played this way, but it makes it really interesting. And I kind of brought my IRL philosophy and bringing that personality into the game, because to be honest with you, if I had $2 billion, I would be doing the same shit in IRL, and it wouldn't be the UEE, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
I was born this way, dude. Like, literally, I was born to defy authority. I have like this duality where I was born not only to challenge authority, but I was also born to be a dictator.
And the role-playing side of it, man, you're a passionate guy and you've got a vision, and I think that's really, can bring people together underneath a vision when someone's really passionate and motivated.
And I don't stop.
It's infectious. If someone likes your vision, then you kind of drag them along, with you, if you know what I mean, which is great.
The times it is dragging them, because they have to keep up. I have one player that he actually has been playing this game for 3 years and never decided to join any org, and had determined he's got like 17 grand in this game, and he never wanted to play in any org. And then when he met me, he was like, there was something about the ideas that you have that just intrigued me. And he'll challenge the shit out of my ideas, like, Delta, I just don't see how you're going to be able to do that. Just hear me out. Listen to this. Here's what's going to happen. Okay, yeah, but I'm interested to stick around and see what's going to happen. So, it is. I would just want to, I don't have any other hobbies. Not that I'm a boring person. This is just what I love to do. I love the game, and I love to dive deep into it. The podcasts, finding you guys, and then we all click well. That's what I do, man. Like, I like to create social systems and then watch them operate, watch them develop, watch them grow, tweak them as we go along. And the way I manage even my org, dude. And you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as me bringing this idea to you guys, we getting together and deciding to do this, the way I manage things is, if it's, even though it's quote unquote my original idea, I allow everybody to participate in it and try to have limited ultimate authority on anything.
Yep.
And so I try to find that balance between, when people come into the org, I always tell them, this is going to be a different experience, because I'm highly organized, yet this org is highly organized, but then again, we have no rules at all, and it's hard for me to show you that. You would just have to come in and experience it, because it's both things. You don't have any rules and regulation, but there's a general idea for the guideline, and as long as we stay within those guidelines, whatever you want to do in the game, you can. And I have one PvPer that's been playing with me for 2 years, and he didn't quite understand that at first, but he gets it now. Like, he wants to just get in and bust heads, and he can do that. There's these guidelines, but he never stops busting heads with inside of those guidelines. He's got directed gameplay now. Still does the same thing. It's just directed in one direction.
Okay.
Any other viewer questions? Yep.
Yeah, indeed. We got one more. It's well, we got three more actually. Who is Acerimmer really? I bet he's hot, and the answer is you don't know how.
It's a fucking
I'm
sob
super
boy.
hot right now.
Comes with upgrades every week.
He is hot.
This-
He's definitely
his-
hot in that helmet.
All his USDCs going in that fucking helmet, man. Look at the upgrades. Go back and look at all the shows and watch the progression of the evolution of this thing. And there's more to come.
It's magnificent.
It is. It's amazing shit.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. 314, or as it's called, the pipe patch, has been called apocalyptic. What do you guys think? Is it as bad as they say? Well, as Delta and I already mentioned, we can't really comment yet as we haven't tested
Miles
it.
will just have to hit on that.
Apocalyptic kind of means big changes, but potentially negative changes as well. I would say it's big changes, which I think is a good thing. It's changed, again, core foundations of the game, flying and combat mechanics. It's not... And you know, people have had reactions. So I think the key thing here is to stay patient, and every patch that you see, they're rebalancing all the stuff constantly. And if they do it wrong, it could be apocalyptic. If they do it well, it could continue to evolve the game into an even better experience. So that's yet to be determined. But yes, it's big changes. It feels different. You know, I know not everyone's into combat and stuff, but it's a huge part of the game, whether you're a PvE or not. It's a huge part of the game. It's massively different. You've got a new moon, and in a way it's apocalyptic in the sense that the Stanton system it's finished, sort of.
Yeah.
That's apocalyptic.
Absolutely.
We have one system. We actually have one system. So, yeah, from whatever angle you look at it, it's all big. 314 ended up being bigger than everyone sort of thought it would be. And it's going to take a lot of relearning. I've enjoyed the flight model changes. I'm enjoying the capacitance system as an idea. I just hope it continues to evolve. And the only negative thing I can say is, and I don't want to get into an alpha, I just want to drop the mic on this. This is just my opinion. No one's going to change it. Mm-hmm. Is that all of this, like, big steps that have taken, I just hope at some point in the next few months or whatever, we settle on something that CIG doesn't then go and we have another apocalypse. Like, you want in an alpha development at some point the foundations to be set and not constantly kind of experimentation and stuff to happen, because that to me means no one's got a vision. Everyone's like, well, let's do this and let's try that. But I don't want to get into any serious discussion. So, yeah, it's as bad as they say. I wouldn't say it's as bad as they say. I say it's freaking different. Whoever asked that question. So, yeah.
Okay, then we'll move on to the last question we got here. It's Space Whale or Star Whale?
Star Whale. For some reason, Star Whale, it evokes nostalgia to Finding Nemo and NES game for me for some reason. Now that's weird. Fucking random, man.
We play different games, bro.
I say both. I say have two species. One is the boring space whale, but if you want to get like a legendary item, you got to find the all rare star whale, which is kind of like glowing or something. Like a star.
Cool. Yeah. And I say, as long as I can hunt them down in my inferno, I don't care about the name.
In your inferno. Oh my god, that's gonna be messy, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm looking
No, it
forward
was
to it.
actually
And-
Little Nemo, the Dream Master was the game. I don't know why the fuck it said Finding Nemo. but
Right.
fuck it.
Okay, Little Nemo I can relate to, but Finding Nemo was like,
Dude, it's fucking 80s. That's 1990s, man.
yeah, that's more my time, man. Well, I'd like to thank Captain Slash for sending in these interesting questions. We're open for more questions anytime.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I'll pass it
Yeah,
over to
man.
Dale for that.
Yeah, man. All right, so citizens, that's it for this episode. It was actually it was pretty intense, at least for me, because I was getting shit most of the time. We appreciate you listening to us. Come back next week as we're a weekly podcast. So for all of our social links, you want to participate in our social network, drop down the links below. Then if you want to send in feedback, questions, hop into the Discord. There's avenues to do that into the Discord, or you can just send us an email at thecitizenfeed@gmail.com. So what I'm going to need you to do is spool that like button, slide over, click that notification bell so you can quantum right back to us next week as soon as we post a brand new video and episode. This is Delta X85 with my co-host Acerimmer and Mozsta69.
Peace out.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming.